So hello again everyone, I would love to show you today how to make these amazing beef Wellingtons. Can you have a look at those there? They look incredible, they're so easy to make, they're really fast to make, extremely popular, and they taste incredible. So let's jump into the video, show you how to make these. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so really quickly I'll talk you through these ingredients now. We've got some pastry, enough to do 5-inch squares, 2 of them, with a little bit left over. I've got some, this is homemade chicken liver patty. I know it doesn't look particularly appetizing, but it's absolutely incredible, trust me on that. We have 2 pieces of fillet. They're 130 grams each approximately, which is sort of 4 ounces, 4 or 5 ounces, I can't quite remember. If you're doing this at home, I would advise that you sear these off in a really hot cast iron pan first. We're a little bit limited at working in a butcher shop. You know, it wouldn't be recommended selling this as a raw product to be cooking it first. So we won't be doing that. Got some seasoned oil. This is just salt and pepper blended with a rapeseed oil. Lattice cutter for some decoration. I have a couple of 5-inch greaseproof paper. And one last thing that I forgot, I'll go and get now, is a 4-inch burger press. I'll use that to form into a nice round shape. You can do it by hand at home. It's not an issue at all. So we're going to jump straight into this, do this in real time. Very quick, very easy, very popular. All I'm going to do is cut. I've got a little tool, 5-inch square roughly. I'm going to cut my 2 pieces of pastry out. Get rid of that. And we'll also save this piece here. I'll stick that to one side for decorating the top. Now, good spoonful of the chicken liver patty. That's really incredible. Maybe one day I'll do a video on how to make that. Just like so. I've also got a few thyme leaves, I don't know if I mentioned that, or a few stalks of thyme. Now, quickly just going to glaze these fillets with a little bit of this oil. Just going to pre-season them a little bit. And then we're just going to sit those right on top of that patty, just like so. So at this point, I'm just going to take basically 1 stalk of thyme and just pop a few leaves on top of the meat there. Might need a little bit more, but not a great deal at this point. Right, and now we're ready to assemble. So we're just going to pinch over opposite corners, just like so. And then we're going to bring over the 2 remaining corners to make this sort of parcel. And then these very points here, again, we're just going to bring those not quite into the middle, but towards the middle to make a seal. I'll show you that one more time. Opposite corners, into the middle, over like that, and then these parts, as you're doing it, you can pinch them down together to make a little bit of a seal. Just like so. Now at this point, this is when I use the burger press. I'm going to put the seal side down and form this into a shape that's going to fit inside this. And I'm just going to use a couple of sheets of plastic to protect that pastry. Tuck it all in there, snug it up, give that a good press. And then this excess pastry, just take your fingers from opposite ends, tuck that under. There you can see we've got a lovely seal on that. That's never coming undone as you cook in the oven. And we've applied enough pressure that the pastry is not too thick where all the joins are. So it's evened out the thickness of pastry. So again, it's just for the cooking time. It's going to be nice and even. And it's important when you're choosing your pieces of fillet as well to go for pieces with a nice thickness if you can. Just because most people like these cooked medium rare, it gives enough time for the pastry to be cooked, but the fillet to still be nice and pink in the middle. So that's why I would pick a thicker bit of fillet if we can. Right, so they're ready. And next I'll just take, well, I guess I'll cut this in two and see how we go with that. And then I have this tool here, used it in the last video. It's a lattice cutter. What I'll do is I'll press out from the middle and stop short of the end, and then come back over the cut marks and go right the way to the end on this side. I'll show that one more time. From the middle, out, stop just before the end. That gives you something to hold on to. And then come back over right to the end. Now we can cut these end parts off, just like so. This pastry is still very cold, so it probably hasn't cut the best, but we can just tease it out. So just use your fingers, just nicely open that out, and then confidently lay it down. Now it's not quite long enough, that's fine. We can stretch the pastry a little bit around, just like so. Just like that. And then, just with your hands, press that on. Don't need to press it mega tight, but just form it so it's going to stick. And it's not going to come loose when this goes into a hot oven. I'll show you one more time. Just tease all these apart. And you've got to be quite gentle when you're working with the pastry. But it's very easy. And then once you've got it all apart, nice and confident, right down on the middle, and just pull that over so it all joins up at the end. Just like that. And then again, just use your hands, go around, seal it all nicely. Now, I just use these 5-inch grease-proof discs, just because we can roast them in the oven. For cooking, I forgot to mention, preheat your oven to quite hot, I don't know, 180, 200 degrees, with a baking sheet in there. Get some heat into that baking sheet. And when you pop those down, it's going to help cook the underside of the pastry there on the bottom. And I would give them about 20 minutes because that fillet was nice and thick. 20 minutes, give them a good 5-minute rest, let all the juice settle back in, and they should be absolutely perfect. So last step for me here, just to glaze these with the oil. And you can see what a difference that makes. Of course, this being a fat replaces the need for an egg wash. That's going to help crisp up pastry in the oven, especially when you roast on a high temperature. Just like so. And then finally to finish, few thyme leaves over, just for decoration. Just like so. So there we have it, guys. How easy was that? They look incredible. As I mentioned in the video, if you can, brown these off at home first. They'll be even better. It's just not practical for us to do here. But so easy, so tasty. If you'd like to see how we make the chicken liver patty, please let me know. That will not be a problem at all. But thanks for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.